The boat engine rattled like it was terrified of the place it was going. Mason Hale tightened his jacket as freezing wind slapped his face. Ahead of him, rising out of the endless Arctic fog, was Rafney, Crow Island, but the locals called it something else. Bloody Ice Island. Last stop, the old fisherman said, refusing to look at the island. Storm's coming. I'll be back at sunrise. If you're alive. Mason forced a smile. He didn't believe ghost stories. He was a freelance journalist chasing a mystery. An entire group of researchers had vanished here 3 months ago. The only clue was a radio transmission. Don't look at the ice. Don't let it see you. Mason stepped off the boat and the fisherman sped away without another word. The island was silent. Too silent. The first signs. The abandoned research station stood a few hundred meters inland. The snow was knee-deep, untouched except for one set of footprints. Fresh footprints. Mason felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold. Someone was still here. He followed the prints toward the station, crunching through the snow. The building was a cluster of metal cabins, rusted and half buried in ice. The door hung open, swinging slowly. Inside, papers were scattered everywhere. Coffee mugs frozen solid, chairs overturned. But what chilled Mason most was the writing on the wall, scratched deep into the metal surface. The ice is watching. It didn't make sense. Ice doesn't watch. He lifted his camera to take a picture. Click. When he lowered it, he froze. A figure stood outside the window. Tall, thin, human-shaped, but wrong. Its skin was pale blue, veiny, cracked like shattered glass. And where its eyes should have been, there were only 2 black holes, dripping frozen blood. Mason slammed the blinds shut and stumbled back. When he peeked again, the figure was gone. The survivor. A faint banging sound echoed from the next cabin. Mason approached carefully, hands shaking, and pushed the door open. Inside was a man, thin, frostbitten, eyes wide with terror. He was chained to a bed, shivering violently. "Help me," the man croaked. Mason rushed over. "Who did this? What's going on here?" The man grabbed Mason's coat. "Open the door again and we're both dead. The ice hears everything." Mason hesitated. "You're one of the missing researchers." The man nodded weakly. "My name? Dr. Kelson. I'm the last one." He pointed toward the window with a trembling hand. "They come at night, the icebound. They were human once. But the island, it changes you." Mason tried to unlock the chains. "No," Kelson screamed. "If I walk outside, they'll smell me. They'll take me back." "Back where?" Kelson's eyes filled with horror. "They live under the ice." The wind outside suddenly dropped to total silence. Kelson's face went pale. "They're here." A shadow passed by the frosted window. Mason swallowed hard. "What are they?" Kelson shook his head. "Not what. Who?" "The first Arctic settlers. Their bodies froze into the island, and now the island wants more." The cabin door rattled violently. Kelson whispered, "Don't make a sound." Mason held his breath. The handle slowly twisted, then stopped. Slow footsteps crunched away into the snow. Kelson exhaled shakily. "They don't attack in daylight. But when night falls, you can't escape." Mason looked at his watch. Sunset was in less than 40 minutes. Under the ice, Kelson begged him not to go outside, but Mason had to understand what had happened to the team. He stepped out and followed a trail of cracked ice behind the cabins. The ground dipped into a crater-like formation, an ice cave entrance, glowing faintly blue. Something called to him, a voice inside his mind. "Come closer, Mason, come see." Against his better judgment, he entered. The cave walls were lined with human shapes frozen inside the ice, their mouths open in silent screams. Eyes blackened, skin torn. Mason's breath came out in sharp bursts. In the center of the cave was a massive chunk of red-stained ice. A body was frozen inside, its arms stretched outward like it had been reaching for help when the ice swallowed it. He stepped closer. The body's eyes snapped open. Mason screamed and fell back. Cracks shot through the ice around the corpse. The entire cave trembled. The frozen body pushed forward, its face breaking through the ice as if it were thin glass. Mason ran. Behind him, something enormous moved in the ice. Something alive. Something hungry. Night falls. By the time Mason burst out of the cave, the sun had dipped below the horizon. He sprinted back toward the station. He wasn't fast enough. Shadows crawled across the snow, dozens of them, moving unnaturally fast. Figures rose from behind the drifts. Tall, blue-skinned, faceless. Their hands were long and bone-white, ending in razor claws. The icebound. Mason ran into the cabin and slammed the door. Kelson screamed from inside his chains, "You brought them here. You heard the island. It marked you." The cabin walls shook as the creature circled. Claws scraped against the metal. Mason grabbed a flare gun from the equipment shelf. "We need to get to the boat." Kelson sobbed. "I told you, I can't go outside." A loud crash interrupted them. The window shattered as an icebound creature lunged inside. Its mouth opened, splitting its frozen face into 6 jagged pieces, and shrieked. Mason fired the flare gun. A burst of light hit the creature, sending it writhing back, its icy skin melting and reforming. Mason rushed to Kelson and shot the chains open. Kelson collapsed, barely able to stand. "If they touch you, you become one of them." More creatures climbed through the window. Mason dragged Kelson outside into the freezing storm. "Follow me." They ran toward the shore. The icebound chased behind, gliding across the snow faster than anything human. Their hollow eyes locked on Mason. They weren't chasing Kelson. They wanted him. The truth. They reached the shoreline, but the boat wasn't there. Storm waves crashed violently. "They took the fisherman," Kelson whispered. "No one leaves Bloody Ice Island." A tall icebound figure rose from the frozen water, towering over them. Its chest opened like cracking ice, revealing dozens of human faces trapped beneath the surface, screaming silently. Among them was the fisherman. And Mason realized the awful truth. Every person taken by the island became part of the next creature. Kelson fell to his knees. "We're dead. It's over." The giant icebound leaned toward Mason, its icy breath freezing the air between them. The voice in Mason's mind returned. "You saw our island. You entered our cave. Now you belong to us." The creatures surrounded him. Mason raised the flare gun, hands trembling. The flare jammed. The leader reached out, claws inches from Mason's face. The ice beneath them cracked. A roar of thunder echoed as the ground split open. Mason and Kelson fell onto a lower ledge while the creature staggered. Kelson grabbed Mason's jacket. "This is our chance." They ran along the ice cliff toward a narrow path leading back up, but Kelson slipped. Mason grabbed his hand. Kelson's tear-filled eyes met his. "Don't save me. If they catch you, it starts again." Before Mason could answer, Kelson let go. He fell into the darkness below. Mason screamed. The icebound were already climbing down after him. The final escape. Mason climbed the cliff as fast as he could. Snow blasted around him, visibility dropping to nothing. He reached the top just as the first icebound creature emerged behind him. He sprinted toward a rusted snowmobile outside a storage cabin. The engine coughed, then roared to life. He sped across the island toward the shore, the creatures chasing close behind. The boat was back, the fisherman's boat, except the fisherman wasn't driving it. A pale, inhuman figure stood at the wheel, its blackened eyes locked onto Mason. The icebound. The entire island was a trap. Mason screamed and turned the snowmobile toward the opposite side of the island, where cliffs dropped into the freezing ocean. The creatures closed in. He reached the cliff edge and drove off. The island remains. The next morning, a rescue helicopter searching for Mason found the snowmobile floating near the rocks, but no body. Just deep claw marks frozen into the metal. And on the shoreline, written in the snow as if carved by fingers of ice. The island took him. The island wants more. Bloody Ice Island waits. It always waits. I